passer against the New York Jets, so they'll add some more yards onto that play.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, 92, going into the back of the legs.
Bobby
into the
Hamilton.
back of the legs.
Exactly. This week, Charlie, Jerry Seaman, the head of the officials, visited the Detroit Lions to tell them about the things they're doing low into the legs on the quarterbacks. The league is going to look closer and closer at this, and if you go down low, this is what you're going to get. You go down into a quarterback's legs, I don't care if it's momentum and you're being pushed, you better find a way to hit turf, hit grass, or whatnot. The officials are going to call that when you get into the back of the legs. I don't care if your lineman has pushed it.
But he has no place else to go.
Well, he has. What you got to do, if you're a coach, you got to tell the guy to go down. You're not going to get there for the...
Go down and roll.
You're going to get down, hit the ground.
And speaking of hitting the ground, and then nailed to the ground is Todd Collins, and Hugh Douglas was there to cover him immediately. We have the report officially. Jim Kelly will not return in the second half of the ballgame.
You know, and part of what you're talking about there in going low, and you're going to see here, Collins get the ball and get stepped on and play and fall down rather ingloriously, take a seat there, and Hugh Douglas covers him up. But, you know, you got to take care of the quarterbacks. I talked about defense getting called too much, but you got to take care of the quarterback position.
Has a man wide open and hits him at the 11-yard line. It's Steve Tasker. Tasker is having an awesome game. First half, over 100 yards. First time in regular season. I think he's just taking a deep breath. That he was over 100 yards in a regular season game. He did it once in a playoff game against Miami. And he just continues to rock and roll here in the second half.
Well, you know, right now the Buffalo receivers are taking turns being the lonely end. Because the lonely end is the guy that's all there by himself and catches a pass. And Tasker just comes out there. It's nothing special. He doesn't put this all-world move on anybody. It's just suddenly he's by himself before Lonnie Young can drag him down.
Tasker, 34 yards on that play, 5 receptions, 142 yards, and a touchdown.
Well, Lonnie Johnson lined up at the left tight end, just came barreling off the ball early there.
Meanwhile, Buffalo was running out of time on the play clock, and they had called timeout. Yep.
Before the action. Timeout, Buffalo.
You saw the countdown on your screen, and they did make it just barely. So we'll step aside for a moment. We'll be back in Buffalo.
Why stop any other store?
This is Charlie Jones and Randy Cross in the cold of Buffalo as the Bills threaten with 3 tight ends on this set to score on their opening drive of the second half. Derrick Holmes is pushed away.
Ball's on the ground.
Everything. It's still being fought for at the bottom of the stack.
Well, Derrick Holmes went into the stack and came out of the stack, but he came out of the stack without the ball.
And it's not the first man there, it's the last man who has the ball. Strong arms at the bottom of the pile. Sometimes you just don't want to give up, do you? The Jets have recovered the fumble. And finally coming out with the football.
Well, you know, on that play, Marv Levy's offense had the whole thing going on exactly what they wanted. You mentioned the 3 tight ends. They brought short motion with 1 tight end, Robert Coons. Look at Holmes go in, but look at the job that's done defensively by the Jets, by Rick Hamilton, meeting him in the hole and jarring that ball loose.
So the Jets now will start on their own 2-yard line. In the first half, remember, they started on their 1. Adrian Morrell gets a call. Washington with the tackle in that situation, and they fought their way out, and they had to punt. And Buffalo took over their own 15-yard line.
Frank Reich's lucky he got that ball off, as Phil Hansen was right there almost at the exchange point tackling Frank Reich, getting penetration. You're looking for penetration defensively in this situation. Look at Phil Hansen. He was right there tripping him off. Nice job of concentration by Reich getting Morrell that ball.
Morrell almost a safety. He gets out of the end zone. He saves the Jets A couple of points by avoiding the safety. Chris Spielman and Phil Hansen were there for Buffalo.
Remember, the penetration's the key. Last time it was Phil Hansen. This time it's Bruce Smith. Watch 78 coming from the inside at the defensive tackle position. Look at the penetration. He gets that first penetration. That sets up Spielman getting his shot right there at the goal line.
So it is 3rd down and 8 with the ball at the 4-yard line. Adrian Morrell is the remaining back. Reich to throw. And it is caught, dropped right through the hands of Keyshawn Johnson. Should have had that one.
Well, he had the matchup he wanted too, because he had Sam Rogers, the linebacker, on coverage. Just watch where the ball comes into Johnson. See Sam Rogers going into that linebacker drop position. Had to completely change his body position, but he had a chance to get both hands on the ball. You're right. Should have caught that one.
Had to turn around, but you make those plays when you play at that level.
Well, watch Hansen's feet. He's right at the back of the end zone.
He's the punter. He gets it away. Jeff Burrows is the return man, and he will chase it over the sidelines. It's going to go out of bounds. So the Buffalo Bills will have the ball when we come back, and they have the lead 21-3. Here in Buffalo, the cold of Buffalo. Wind chill factor now single digit down to 9. And the Bills go to work on their own 49-yard line. Buffalo out in front by a score of 21-3. Collins with good protection throws and misses everybody. So it'll be 2nd down. Steve Tasker, the intended receiver. Todd Collins in relief of Jim Kelly with a hamstring twinge right at the end of the first half. And he is still in the locker room, has not come out, will not play in the second half.
Well, watch Tasker coming across at the top of the screen. That's just good defense. There's nowhere for Tasker to go. You know, sometimes you get the pick by the receivers. In that case, the defense is right where it's supposed to be, keeping the receiver away.
Here's Derek Holmes. And Holmes has 3 or 4 yards off the right side. The Bills also without the services of Thurman Thomas, who has a leg injury. The x-ray's negative. He will not return, as he was kind of spun under and caught some heavy bodies on top of him about the 3-yard line in the first half. That was in the first quarter.
Well, that injury to Jim Kelly is nothing new. He's had a hamstring coming into this game that's bothered him about 3 or 4 plays before he came out. He was twinging a little on that leg.
3rd down and 6. 3-step drop. Incomplete. Good defensive play. And that was Marcus Coleman knocking it away from Andre Reed. Good coverage on it. And again, going back to what you talked about in the first half, the defense should be allowed to play that close.
Well, and look at the job that he does, because the ball is thrown in the proper position. I mean, look at this. It's low and inside, and look at that right arm coming around. That is good, strong defensive play by Coleman. Done it the last couple of weeks. I think the Jet coaches have found themselves a heck of a defensive back.
Chris Moore is kicking to Cravett. He wants another one of those ups and downs, and we down it, but it's a fair catch at the 10-yard line. He is kicking for field position and doing an excellent job today. Here's a program note. Thanksgiving Day, by the way, from Randy and myself to all of you watching today, let us be the first to wish you a happy Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving Day, NBC Sports will be pulling the legs on the turkey with you, presenting more exciting NFL action at the special time of 12 noon Eastern time with the NFL on NBC. Then a football feast. Marcus Allen, the Kansas City Chiefs, battle Barry Sanders, who, by the way, went over 1,000 yards today for the 8th consecutive year. The Detroit Lions and the Kansas City Chiefs, Thanksgiving Day starting at 12 noon Eastern time here on the home of the Peacock NBC.
Every Thanksgiving Day is a Barry show in Detroit.
It is. You're absolutely right. Now, is that a blown play?
If it's not, it's missing a heck of an opportunity. I mean,
I am tired of being your straight man.
It is the 2nd or 3rd time Frank Reich has turned the ball around to give the ball off. And, you know, Ron Earhart's got to be saying right now, you almost read his lips saying, you know, what the heck's going on?
Well, you know what? Adrian looked up, and Bruce Smith, who was sliding to the left, was right in the middle of the hole at the same time.
Well, Adrian Morrell was going to where he was supposed to be a little quicker than Frank Reich was ready to give him the balls. What happened?
Well, let's see what happens here. 2nd down and 12 from the end zone, far side. Keyshawn flat drops it. Now the one that he spun around where he could, you could say okay, but that one you do not drop.
Well, a fine interview this morning also on NBC. Bob Costas talking to Keyshawn Johnson about the frustrations of playing on a team losing like this. Well, one of the things you got to do to relieve frustration is when you get a chance to make a play. The young man out of the University of Southern California, the #1 pick in the draft, got to take advantage of those situations, and he's not mad at anybody right here but Keyshawn Johnson.
And by the way, congratulations to your Bruins defeating Southern California yesterday in overtime.
I wasn't going to bring that up, but thank you.
I thought I would get in early. Look out. Pass is complete. They're going to mark it at the 2-yard. It's not a safety.
No, but he was hit there, but that is all set up by Bruce Smith.
Nope.
This Jets offensive line was doing a good job on the Buffalo defenders the first quarter and a half, but Bruce Smith and Phil Hansen have started stunting and moving, and that's the second time Jumbo Elliott has tried to get a cut block on Bruce Smith on that screen, and you're going to get him once, maybe twice, and it's going to be effective, but then you're going to start giving him up and giving up shots on your quarterback.
Ryan Hansen again right at the back edge of the end zone. If he steps back, it's a safety. He steps back out of the end zone. Jeff Burrows is the return man. He takes it at the 49-yard line, has 3 yards on the return. He's going to get about 5 tops on the return. And we will step aside with 9:43 time remaining here in the third quarter. Bills are up 21-3.
They've done with the mistakes the Jets have made, and they've taken advantage of most of them.
Derrick Holmes pumping through the crowd and then taken out of bounds.
Watch out for the heater.
Yeah.
The heater can be your friend or it can be your enemy. You saw Holmes, he kind of brushed into it initially. But look at that thing back. I could have hit that thing.
Yeah, but I got warm while I was there.
But I'll tell you what, Derrick Holmes, he's not having a great day stats-wise. He's getting good yards. He fumbled on the last possession, but if you give me a matchup like that, he's being driven out of bounds by Lonnie Young, but I'll take Derrick Holmes against that heater. I don't care what that heater does or how high it is. I like Holmes in that matchup.
35-yard line in New York, first down. On the draw, here's Holmes again. Heads for the heater, and he's dropped around the 25-yard line. Lonnie Young makes the tackle once again.
And, this young guy, Holmes, has really done a nice job this year subbing in for Thurman Thomas. And Thomas is getting on in the years. We talked about his try to be the 8th guy to get 1,000 yards consecutive seasons, as Barry Sanders has already done today. But one of the reasons is he can stay fresh because Derrick Holmes is such a good change of pace.
Second down and 1. He plows straight through. Right now, he is, you could call it this, the remaining back for the Buffalo Bills. Thurman Thomas is injured. Jason Bratton, the rookie free agent, we saw him some in the first half. He was on the practice squad. They brought him up. I thought really they brought him up as a warm body, but they saw some action in the first half. There he is, number 29. But in the second half, it's been all Derrick Holmes, and he is the remaining back. And he gets it again. He said something else to us. Remember when we talked to him in New York about Thurman Thomas? He said, and he's helped me on the field. He said, I love the K-gun because Thurman gets a little tired. I get to go in and run more with the football. He said, but he's also helped me off the field. He's shown me places to go, things to do, and he's also pointed out areas that I shouldn't go to. Said he's really been an older brother type influence.
Yeah, well, it's always great to have that as a young player, but the style of running back that Holmes is, Charlie, he knows where he belongs, and right behind that offensive line is doing a good job now.
Into the end zone, it is caught. Steve Tasker has his second touchdown reception of the ballgame.
Well, what did we tell you earlier? They might have a different quarterback, but the offense stays the same. The lonely end has got another touchdown, but at that time he wasn't so lonely because Richie Kotite had a defender with him. Collins dropped that one in perfectly.
And Tasker with 160 yards, career high. Remember we said this was his first 100-yard receiving game regular season. Had one in the playoffs. Well, we're over this afternoon. It may be his first 200 yards receiving game. Extra point is up, and it is good. As the Buffalo Bills have stretched the margin now to 28-3. We'll be back for the kickoff in a moment. Randolph is the host of the game. Now, let's go back to the touchdown to Steve Tasker.
Well, you know, you got to look at the protection that Collins gets. It starts out really good, but watch Tasker is working in the slot. He's getting the protection. Now, right now, he's going to throw the ball. Look at the coverage down the field. Tasker is covered, but Collins throws this ball into the far corner and makes the receiver Tasker go about 15, 20 yards to get that pass. Great touch and good faith, too, knowing your receiver's going to get there.
And the second touchdown reception of the ballgame for Tasker. Here's Morrell to the outside. Has a bit of the corner, and he'll go out a couple of yards shy of the first down. He's going to pick up, about 8 yards on the play. Kurt Schultz and Thomas Smith chase him out.
Well, this is the best thing that can happen for Frank Reich, really, in this situation. Because you get down on this defense, and you're down 28-3. Bruce Smith and Phil Hansen, and this defense is waiting to take your head off. You've got to have some sort of a running game occasionally to take it away. See, Morrell's gotten, 15 for 75, not bad, but the problem's been Bruce Smith and the passes.
Reich has time, throws back underneath the coverage at the 50-yard line, and it is incomplete to Kyle Brady. Brady with a pair of receptions in the ballgame. That is the 5th pass that has been thrown his way.
Watch the matchup again. Bruce Smith now working against Harry Galbraith. What happens? He's been a problem. No problem there. Jumbo Elliott gets a nice block on Gabe Northern, 99, and Galbraith keeps Smith out. What they've done in this first half is they've used that speed by Smith, and they've taken advantage of the stunts and blitzes on coordination on the line to get to Reich.
Third down, about a yard and a half for the first down. There's the first down, popping through, making a cut, lost his balance when Morrell made his cut to the left. Kurt Schultz and Matt Stevens were there to cover him immediately, and the Jets have a first down, and they are on the move, although they trail in the ballgame 28-3.
Watch Jumbo Elliott right here working against Bruce Smith. We've seen him try to cut him on some screen blocks. Well, right here, he cuts him, he gets him on the ground, and that's what sets up that back hole cut and that back hole play for his running back, Adrian Morrell. See, watch. Smith's on the ground, he can't get up, and that blur you see, or don't see, was Adrian Morrell going where Bruce Smith should have been.
And the Jets running out of time on the play clock with a first down at the Bills' 40-yard line. Take a timeout. They had the same problem in the first half.
They waste another timeout. Yep. That's communication, between the guys on the sideline, in the box, and on the field. And, once a game is one thing, but when that keeps happening repetitively, you just got to wonder. I mean, you can't keep wasting these type of situations and timeouts. I mean, you're down this kind of a score, 28-3. You need it.
Tonight, this is one of my favorite movies. I've seen this about 3 times. And if it's on the flight home, I'll be watching it tonight again. But you at home can watch Maverick. Mel Gibson, Jodie Foster show how the West was really won.
Was that fast? I thought that was fast.
James Garner co-stars in Maverick. That's tonight after Third Rock right here on NBC.
James Garner, the original Maverick.
Yes. That's a good movie. That's 2 of my favorite people, James Garner and Mel Gibson. They are both great.
Yeah, and Frank Reich. Remember that company we were talking about?
Yes.
Plenty of company, because Gabe Northern and Bruce Smith, who were blocked a couple plays ago, this is what's known as a jailbreak. Remember the stunts and the blitzes and the coordination? All of the above. He trips on his own feet, basically going back. But it was me.
But he's in a hurry to get back.
It was merely a technicality, because he was going down. Last time they played, ought. This time, he's got 5, but I tell you what, Bruce Smith and company are all inside of Frank Reich's and this offensive line's head right now in the last quarter or so.
3 wide receivers. Here's Morrell on the draw. Morrell has rushed for 88 yards in the ball game. Give him a couple more up to 90. Ted Washington with the tackle.
Well, he's having as good a day as anybody's had against this Buffalo defense running the ball. Remember Jerome Bettis in that Monday night game earlier in the year just ripped these guys up, and hardly anybody's been able to run well against these guys, and some big name backs, but they're running the ball effectively. The problem's been the turnovers, and they haven't been able to handle the pass rush. See, look at what some of these guys have done. I mean, some of the best running backs in the league have not run for many yards against this defense.
Jets now with 5 wide receivers. Reich steps forward. He goes deep into double coverage, and it is out of bounds, incomplete. Alex Van Dyke, the intended receiver. Kurt Schultz was there.
Yeah, that's a case right there. Reich had to get out of the pocket and try to make something happen and see what was going on downfield with his receivers. You know, because, you know, going on downfield is hope. Because you start seeing guys coming loose, you got to move around a little bit. That's when the hope comes in. And when you're throwing it into that small of an area, that is a hope pass. It's not a hope chest, it's a hope pass.
And you notice how quick that Bruce Smith gets off the ball. Well, Phil Hansen is right behind him. That defensive line of Buffalo is really quick. Here's the kick. It is over the head of the return man, and it is going to be a touchback. They'll rule it a touchback. They'll bring it out to the 20-yard line, where Buffalo will go to work. We have a timeout. Buffalo leading 28-3. In the third quarter.
But from Buffalo's standpoint, Charlie, more is better.
Collins a fake and then an inside handoff on a reverse. It's good for about 8 yards as we take a reverse to New York. Greg Gumbel with an update.
All right, Charlie, and Minnesota change of the lead again. Brad Johnson from 10 yards out. Watch the great catch in the end zone by Chris Carter. He got both feet down, held onto the ball with the extra point. 17-14. Vikings with the lead on the Broncos. 14 minutes to play in the fourth quarter, Charlie.
Thank you, Greg. And we also have an update from Baltimore we'll pass on right after this running play by Derrick Holmes. And that is in the Baltimore game at halftime. The coordinators were going back up to the press box after meeting, and the elevator got stuck. And they were there the whole third quarter. And they had to come with axes to tear the door down so they could get in.
Marv Levy, happy to be on the sideline. I wouldn't want to imagine. I couldn't see. I mean, you got Wade Phillips there and Marv Levy, and they might be cold, but they're not stuck.
No, that's right. They're not in an elevator.
They got somewhere to go. And they got a lot of places to go when you're up 28-3 like this, and a young quarterback like Collins running this offense pretty good for Kelly.
He certainly is. Pass far side, it is complete. That's Eric Moles. Moles primarily a return man, 12 receptions on the year coming into the ball game. That is his 13th. Lonnie Young with the tackle.
Well, the reason Moles is in is on that last little inside reverse with Steve Tasker. Tasker came limping off the field, a little dinged up on this, but you know, this guy was a #1 pick, and sometimes fans and I think coaches get a little frustrated. Why aren't we getting more out of these guys? Moles is going to be all right. It's just going to take a little bit longer.
And here is Derrick Holmes.
Yeah, Derrick Holmes he's trying to find that heater. Look at him.
I think you're right.
I don't know if he's talking to guys or he's trying to find that space heater over there, as Steve Tasker is trying to work out that little kink he came off the field with earlier. But they might not need Tasker and company right now. They keep running this ball effectively with Derrick Holmes on the field. The lonely end theory might have to change to another Buffalo receiver.
3 wide receivers of first down. Collins stands in. Now he steps away. And he throws it incomplete.
There's a flag right there. Got a hold against Buffalo. Trying to prevent further damage to your quarterback. When things start breaking down like that and guys get away, sometimes you just have to rely on your quarterback that he can get rid of it. You don't have to hold.
But in that case, you'd rather hold and have somebody take a shot at it.
Number 79, offense. 10 yards, first down.
Reuben Brown. Now, you were an offensive lineman with the 49ers. Now, what was that situation with you all? I mean, you just reacted. Did you grab somebody and pull them down in that case? If they knew they had a free shot at the quarterback?
Oh, without a doubt. You always do.
Yeah.
You know, hey, can you tell Marv Levy's a guy's been here for a while? I mean, he's been in Buffalo for a lot of years. No hat, no stocking cap. You get a shot of Wade Phillips, who spent all those years in New Orleans, and he was in Denver a little bit where it's good. Look at Wade. He has taken no chances. He is going to be warm.
He's not ready for this goal yet. It is fumbled on the exchange. The ball is loose.
Still loose.
And a scramble for it. Derrick Holmes missing on the exchange from Todd Collins, and we believe Holmes is a man. Well, watch him there. He's great. He's got a death grip on it.
Buffalo had it. Holmes had it a little while ago. It's a matter of who comes out of the dog pile with it.
And the official comes out and points out he went and checked it all out and said it is Derek Holmes that has it.
It's about the 4th time today, too. Bob McElwee, our referee, has lost his hat.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's throwing that thing down to try to mark something or start sticking his head in those dog piles like that. You start losing those things. And not only do you lose your hat, you lose the ball. And you got Lucci trying to get down at it. You got Holmes trying to get down at it. And you got the ball back, and Bob McElwee's got his hat back.
Meanwhile, it is 2nd down and 23. 3 wide receivers. Here's the screen. It is high. It is pulled down by Holmes, and Holmes then is pulled down along the far side by Bobby Houston.
10-yard gain. 3rd and 13.
And, you know, this is a case where you're not going to get that much rush. Look at the defensive line for the Jets. They aren't exactly steaming up the field, because as a defense, you got to know this is coming. Reuben Brown working against Jones there, the middle linebacker. Jones does a nice job of holding off the blocking until the cavalry can get there, and the cavalry comes in the form of Houston, number 55.
3rd down and 13. Collins from the shotgun with 3 wide receivers, 2 backs in the block. He goes to the sideline on a deep comeback, and it is there. Quinn Early has the 1st down.
That is inexcusable. I mean, that is absolutely inexcusable to get a football team
18 yards.
in 2nd and 23. You've got them in a situation, there's no way on good Lord's green earth they should get a 1st down, and you're playing so soft. You're playing so soft, you can walk out of bounds for the 1st down. I think that's ridiculous, personally, from a defensive standpoint.
And you saw on the replay Carl Greenwood turn, start downfield to pick up the deeper coverage pattern on him. He simply cut it off, came back, caught it underneath. There is Derek Holmes on the left side. He's getting quite a workout. Marvin Jones with a tackle.
You know, this Jets team is a team defensively that has really hung so many times this year. And Jim Vaccarelli, I think, gets a lot of the credit for the attitude of this defense. But they've been put in so many bad positions today that I think this offensive team is just wearing this defense down with the running game first of Thomas and now of Holmes. And that's why they're giving up the big plays via the pass.
Derek Holmes has carried the ball 20 times, quarterback draw. A couple of yards, and that's it. Holmes has rushed for 58. Marvin Jones stopping Todd Collins. Injuries, though, beginning to take some toll on Buffalo. Of course, Jim Kelly is out with that hamstring twinge. They lost Thurman Thomas in the 1st quarter. Ostrowski is out at right guard. Corbin Lucina has replaced him. And we saw Steve Tasker limping along the sideline.
Week 12, Charlie, 12th game of the year is 28-3 with about 20 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. Little tweaks and twinges become bad enough to get guys out when you're this far on top of somebody physically.
Incomplete as he overthrows everybody. Eric Moles, the intended receiver. Aaron Glenn and Victor Green have the coverage. And that stops the clock now with 5 seconds left to go in the 3rd. And it's 4th down and 7.
Well, let's see if Chris Moore can get that bite on the ball again like he did that one time. He kicked it down, it bit on the one, went straight up in the air, and pinned the Jets back.
Wayne Corbett at the 10-yard line. But you mentioned a couple of games ago, what happened to the Coffin corner kick? Everybody sees whether there's Tasker, but he's running into the
He just ran right by the Coffin corner.
He's going for it. And it is caught at the 1-yard line.
Perfect again.
That's Kerner.
Same guy.
Yeah.
Kerner is in the perfect position. He knows where the ball's coming. That is great execution by DeHaven's special team group for Buffalo.
Marlon Kerner does the job for Buffalo. 1-yard line, the Jets have a bit of work to do. This is the 3rd time in the ballgame they have been back down there. Once before they got out. See if they can do it again. But first, let's go back to
well, earlier today, I was out on the field watching Neil O'Donnell do this out of here throwing the ball, and he looked strong. You know, he's ready to come back. He says the only real problem is re-strengthening all the muscles around his shoulder. But he threw him short, he threw him medium, he threw a few long. He said twinged a little bit, but it was mainly because of the muscles, not so much because of that dislocation.
2nd down and 6. We're in the 4th quarter. Adrian Morrell. He's going to pick up the 1st down as he goes to the 14-yard line. Bruce Smith was the first man to get there, and Chris Spielman the second for Buffalo.
Jets first and 10 at the 14.
And this is just acceleration. You know, Matt O'Dwyer is pulling out, and right where he pulled out is where Adrian Morrell runs back and cuts that ball in there. I mean, there's suddenly a bubble forms in the defense when an offensive lineman vacates like that, and there's a good job of taking advantage of that bubble.
Morrell over 100 yards today, and we have some jumping in the offensive line.
And plenty of flags too, boy. Got about four of those
False
dogs.
start prior to the snap. Number 88, offense. 5
That's
yards.
on the tight end,
first
Kyle Brady. And you heard somebody's reaction to that call. And justifiably so.
Well, it's just you're backed up. There's motion. There's sound. You want to do it, and you leave about half a snap too early. And that's usually what happens right after you leave a snap too early. If you're one of the end type people, usually the linemen have got to stay in, but they bring the tight ends and running receivers out and have a little word with them when they do that.
So it is first down and 15 with the ball at the 9-yard line. 5 wide receivers. Bruce Smith.
He was going on Frank Reich's hand motion. Did you see Frank Reich throw his hands down in the air? Look at Bruce Smith. Frank Reich.
Number 78, defense, offside, unabated to the quarterback.
Look at that.
Yards, first down.
That's exactly what he went. You
Bruce
saw
Smith's
Frank
right.
Reich throw his hands down like that, looking for the ball.
Yep.
I mean, you can't move your head, much less your arms like that, asking for the ball. And he did jump off sides, absolutely, but he was drawn offside by that motion by Frank Reich.
Adrian Morrell, 19 carries, 103 yards rushing for New York. That is his 5th 100-yard rushing game this year, his 6th in his career. Quick pass over the middle. Pass is complete. A stretch out to try and pick up the first down. That can always be dangerous. Wayne Corbett, and he is stopped by Chris Spielman.
Well, it's right at about the 24-yard line, so it's going to be second down in about, a football or so.
Close to a first down.
You're going to stop the clock for a measurement. 13:02, that is the time remaining. We take another look.
I just pretend it's a third down and get it to Corbett and see if he can stretch out for your first down.
As the chains come out. Morrell going over the 1,000-yard mark. Well, it is a first down. And here's Tasker. We got a report on him from Carol Larson, our producer, that it was not an injury, that they wanted to put a knee brace on, and so now they have the knee brace on, and you can see he's running faster coming out than he was going in. My vote was that he'd find out it was so warm in the locker room that he'd decide to stay. 5 wide receivers. And here's Corbett, and he does it. He picks up the first down. Kurt Schultz with the tackle.
Well, he got a first down, got 10 yards on the last one. They measured that one. They won't have to measure this one because he got a lot more than 10 yards there. And just quick, efficient offense. First 2 plays out of the blocks in his last 2 possessions.
And the Jets with their hurry-up offense. Corbett again to the 44-yard line. So Frank Reich going to Corbett. Kerner with the tackle.
Well, you know, this is getting yards for the Jets defense, offense, but more importantly, this is keeping the defensive line off Frank Reich.
And here is the handoff to Anderson. A couple of yards, that's it, just across the 45.
Well, that's a plus. He got any yards with Bruce Smith about 3 yards deep into the backfield at the beginning of that play.
Keyshawn comes wide to the near side. They have single coverage on him. There'll be safety help deep. 5 wide receivers. Here comes the blitz. Graham has it at the 40, the 35. Still on his feet as he makes his cutback. 15, 10. And then how in the world did he get away from everybody as they all converge in the middle of the field at about the 20-yard line?
Well, just because you go into a bunch and just because you go into a pile doesn't mean you got to go down. I mean, he does a good job of heading this ball, heading straight up the middle of the field. Now watch, here comes the pile and the bunch. Right here. He goes into it, and a slight matter if you're going to go into a pile. If nobody grabs you, by all means, get on out of there and get some more yards.
Limping just a little bit at the end of the play, good for 46 yards. First down, goal to go, 8-yard line. Again, 5 wide receiver. Incomplete. Going to Anderson.
Rice pass intended for
Graham,
Richie
5
Anderson,
receptions
is
and
incomplete.
98 yards in the ball game. And remember last week, he had 9 for 189 and 3 touchdowns.
And Frank Reich is going to continue to do these quick things to the receivers like Graham, like Corbett, like Keyshawn Johnson, because right now the Buffalo Bills have decided to keep stunning with the linemen, but they're also blitzing with the linebackers. So it's 3 steps and get it off, or you just might eat it.
28-3 Buffalo, a lot of time remaining, more than 11 minutes in the fourth. 5 wide receiver, been very effective, throws underneath, 1-yard line, reaching in as Graham. Did he make it for the touchdown? He did, yeah. So Jeff Graham with 3 touchdowns last week as his first of this ball game, 8 yards on the play, and his 6th of the year.
And once again, you saw Frank Reich, no messing around, just drops back and drills this thing to Graham, who came up. You saw him after that one pass, the long one where he came into the bunch, didn't get grabbed, came up limping, gets this one right here, gets it over, reaches over, he gets 6 points for a touchdown, and he comes up limping.
And Nick Lowry, well, there's Graham with a bit of a limp. Hanson with the hold. Good snap. And it is good. John Hudson does the snapping for the Jets. He adds the extra point. The score, Buffalo 28, Jets 10, back with the kickoff.
Symbol for quality in America. And by Microsoft Software. Where do you want to go today?
This is Charlie Jones and Randy Cross in Buffalo. 11 minutes and 5 seconds, time remaining in the ball game. Don Silvestri is going to kick it away for the Jets with Eric Moles and Russell Copeland, the return man for Buffalo. And it is taken to the 3-yard line by Eric Moles. Moles to the 20. He has the head of steam out. He's to the 50-yard line. He could bust it all the way, and he's going to. Oh!
No flag. That's a touchdown. What a job. That's pure speed, Charlie.
17 seconds. The scoreboard changes again.
Pure speed. Good,
97 yards.
good blocking, but Moles, oh, they trying to do a little Buffalo thing, and Ken Rose, the special teams coach from New York, got to look at that and his guys. I mean, that was just a case of nothing fancy. What Ken Rose, that special teams coach, saw was Eric Moles just take this thing straight up the field. I mean, where are the Jets?
He could fly again.
Much less where are the Bills. There weren't that many Bills around the guy. He just went straight up the field and got his 6 points.
And for the rookie, the #1 draft choice out of Mississippi State. That is his first NFL touchdown.
And he's keeping that ball.
Oh, yeah. Now, Steve Christie with the point after. It's good. So the Jets took 7 points off the lead. The Bills got it right back. We'll be back with the kickoff again, 35-10. It's been a long time between Buffalo kickoff returns for touchdowns. How long? Well, it's been almost 5 years. Al Edwards did it against Oakland December the 8th, 1991.
Well, I wonder if Al Edwards had to celebrate, take his ball, run to the sideline, put it underneath the trunk, and then get back out there and cover a kickoff.
We'll place a call to old Al and ask him about that. Here's the kick. At the 4-yard line, Reggie Cobb on the return. A one-arm grab pulls him down. That was Lonnie Johnson, the tight end, that just got a piece of him.
Those special...
No, it was Mark Pike, excuse me.
Coaches, I mean, the special teams, Charlie, have really killed the Jets this year in everything they've done. A lot of that's really happened is because they've had so many injuries on Ken Rose's special teams, or actually on the offense and defense, that he's got almost exclusively backups running his special teams. And you got to have starters in there. You got to have your defensive backs and linebackers and some of your running backs, and that tells you a lot right there about what kind of execution and perhaps even effort that Ken Rose is getting from a lot of these guys that are running on the special teams. You know, the coach can only do so much on special teams. A lot of it is just player want to. You can tell them where to be, but if they don't get there, it's the player's fault.
Jets come out, 5 wide receivers. This has been very effective for him. Wayne Corbett pulls it in. Let's go to New York for an update. Here's Greg Gumbel. Greg?
All right, Charlie, what an outstanding afternoon Curtis Martin is having for the New England Patriots. 35 carries, 141 yards rushing, and this dandy 12-yard touchdown run. His 16th TD of the season. That's a new franchise record, 27-6. Pats lead the Colts, 5.5 to play in regulation, Charlie.
As we come back, the ball is knocked in the air by David White of Buffalo. Knocked in the air. He couldn't quite pull it off. Corbett, the intended receiver.
Well, you know, it's great seeing that highlight about Curtis Martin in a game that, you know, both teams desperately needed to win, but New England with the big tuna Bill Parcells sort of putting the pressure on his guys, taking them out for, you know, a little early practice Friday before their late practice Friday. You know, you got to know with a running effort like that out of Curtis Martin, Parcells is nothing but smiles. Because the heck with just throwing the ball on people. Let me grind it on somebody.
Again, 5 wide receivers for the Jets.
Wow.
Jeff Graham, the intended receiver. Oh, he is dead. Whoa. Marlon Kerner was there for Buffalo.
Well, Kerner was there doing the defensive back thing.
Who hit him then?
He's doing the defensive back thing, trying to block that thing up. But watch Schultz, 24. Good morning. How are you? It's cold. That hurts. Not necessarily in that order.
You're right.
More like it hurts.
Oh.
Good morning. Ouch.
No.
Oh, then he steps on his hand.
Then no. Ouch. Oh, you got me again on the hand. And who was that? Did anybody get a number? 3rd down and 10. Into a crowd close to the first down. He may have it. And it's Keyshawn Johnson who has the reception. He's had a very tough afternoon.
Well, a little hot and cold. He had that one drop. He's had some great coverage against him by some defensive backs for the Buffalo Bills in a couple of situations.
That's his first catch of the ball game. And it comes with 9:49. That is the time remaining in the 4th quarter. It's close enough for the change to come out.
You saw the ticker as it moved by New England there, but San Diego 28-7 now up on Kansas City.
Isn't that interesting?
My old team, the Niners and Washington, are all locked up at 16 apiece.
San Diego, the same team at home last week against Tampa Bay. They were up 14-0, and they lost that ball game. They've really been an up and down roller coaster, hot and cold team. You know, every one of those cliches applies to the Chargers this year. Very strange season. But if they finish strong, like anybody, they can finish strong from here with a few exceptions, including the Jets. There's a chance for the playoff. Reaching out and pulling in is Wayne Corbett, and then he fights for all the extra yardage that he can get. He's an amazing athlete. I enjoy watching him play. He has so much fun, and he is very football smart.
Boy, as a group, the Jets have an excellent group of receivers. When you look at, you know, Graham and Keyshawn Johnson and Corbett, they have Alex Van Dyke, and, you know, Corbett now has 7 catches for 65 yards. And, I mean, they've got a very good group there, and you got to think, too, that good news that's coming for the Jets is, you know, Neil O'Donnell's going to be back next week. And Frank Reich has filled in all right, but very important to get their leader back on offense.
And Houston struggling in their ball game this afternoon. Here is Reich. Buys time. This is Graham. It's intercepted. Ray Jackson.
How in the world does Ray Jackson get that thing as it's deflected? I mean, you want to talk about hand-eye coordination.
I think Bruce Smith touched it and Jim Jeffcoat touched it. And then Jackson was there.
Oh, that isn't. Well, just watch how this works out.
There's one.
Here's the ball.
2.
Deflected, contact, bobble, catch, on his stomach, nothing but net.
First and 10 for the Bears at their 41.
41-yard line. Bills have the ball in their own territory. Nice play. That is the 3rd interception for the Bills. They also have a fumble recovery. Reich, as you see, with the interception. And now Todd Collins will go to work once again for Buffalo. 9 minutes, 3 seconds time remaining in the game. Here's the reverse Derek Moles. Moles, he's the one that had that 97-yard kickoff return a moment ago. I'm not sure I like that little foot dance that he did. Just head on around the corner and get as much as you can. He's stopped by Aaron Glenn.
Well, that wasn't a foot dance. I think that was breaks. And sometimes,
he's going to go out of bounds. He's going so fast. There's Jim Kelly back on the sideline.
Well, look what the quarterback position has done today for the Buffalo Bills. I mean, an excellent execution. They're at 23 passes, though. So they're about at their limit. So you got to think from now on it's runs. Because they're not allowed to throw any more than 23, 25 passes. There's a tariff after that.
They have a governor on the arm. The arm won't go back. Yeah, there we go.
And why, Charlie, do I harp on that? You know, 23, 25. It's very simple. You know, since this offense has started running in this form, running the ball effectively and not throwing much, they are 5-0 with less than 30 pass attempts. When you have less than 30 pass attempts, that's playing Northeast football. That's playing smash mouth, Big Tuna, Bill Parcells, now Marv Levy, running the ball, grinding it on the ground, and throwing high percentage passes.
Corbin Lucina is the injured player for Buffalo. Jerry Ostrowski has already come in to replace him. Clock is stopped with 7:52. That is the time remaining in the ball game, and the Buffalo Bills comfortably in front of the New York Jets, 35-10. The injury bug in this three wide receivers, and then spinning out and going incomplete to the tight end Tony Klein.
That little sleight of hand, little prestidigitation Collins had to do there. He got that quick snap, he bobbled it, he had to get rid of it fast because he was getting some serious pressure.
It's too cold to say prestidigitation.
Is it? We got an overtime game going on in Washington between the 49ers and the Redskins. Wow. Wow.
Here's Wayne Grabett set as the punt return.
Chris Moore in punt formation.
Chris Moore kicks. Oh, this is a beauty. He has great hang time. Taken at the 14-yard line, a fair catch.
14 by Wayne Grabett.
Here's a program note. Be sure to stay with us this afternoon. Coming up next, don't miss the exciting conclusion of the World Cup of Golf from Cape Town, South Africa. The American duo, U.S. Open champ Steve Jones, British Open champion Tom Lehman. They are in third place going into the final round. Join host Jay Randolph. That's coming up next here on NBC. And coming up next here at Buffalo with 7:37 time remaining. The Jets will see if they can get anything going here in the last 7.5 of the ball game. The Jets are headed for a record of 1-11. The Buffalo Bills, their record will be 9-3 as they continue on their march to the playoffs. Jets host Houston, who's losing next Sunday at the Meadowlands, and Buffalo will be at Indianapolis. Quick fires Graham, and he gets down underneath. Nice move. He could feel the safety coming up to nail him. That would be Emmanuel Martin, so he just slid down underneath it.
Well, more importantly, too, Charlie, Frank Reich threw that ball, floated that thing right in behind the linebackers in front of the defensive backs.
Reich again, 5 wide receivers. Jets offensively been very effective with 5 wide. This one's tipped to the line of scrimmage. It'll be incomplete.
And really, for the Buffalo defensive linemen like Jim Jeffcoat and company up front, they have got to get those hands up fast because Reich is not holding on to this ball. He knows the pressure's coming. So Jeffcoat, the veteran defensive lineman, isn't near Reich, but he gets the hands up to block it.
The 5 wide receivers for the Jets are Jeff Graham, Wayne Grabett, Alex Van Dyke, Keyshawn Johnson, and then Richie Anderson, who they move out of the backfield as the 5th wide receiver.
Well, Jeffcoat's an interesting guy. Remember, he was with those Dallas teams that beat up on the Buffalo Bills in a couple of those Super Bowls.
Incomplete. Nice defensive play. Grabett, the intended receiver. Ken Irvin just went around him with that left hand.
You got a flag down on the play, Charlie.
Oh, I thought he got away with it.
Defensive pass interference, number 27, first down.
Well, the left
call it on Irvin.
The left hand, he was all right. The left hand he was knocking the ball down with. It was the right hand that had a little holt of a little jersey, I think, that got him. You know, Frank Reich, remember, he's getting that shotgun, zip, zip, bang. He's getting rid of that thing. Even when he zip, zip, bangs, Bruce Smith's still getting into his legs. And they didn't call it on the knockdown with the left hand. They called it with a hold around on the other side with the right hand.
4 wide receivers on this set. Anderson, the ball carrier, up to the 38-yard line. Phil Hansen and Ray Jackson on the tackle. Denver now has taken the lead from Minnesota in that ball game, 21-7 with 18 seconds left. Elway, a 5-yard touchdown pass. Elway is still up to his old trick. Meanwhile, Ray Jackson has such a great grasp on the receiver, Richie Anderson, that he cannot get away. So it's going to be 3rd down. Clock continues moving, 6:23 and counting. Time remaining in the ball game. The Buffalo Bills leading the Jets by a score of 35-10. 3rd down and 4. Over the middle. Corbett has it for a moment. Let's see when the ball comes loose. They're going to give him the spot out to the 44-yard line, which again he will convert on 3rd down.
Yeah, they're gonna give him the motion, the forward motion when he caught that ball. Then he was snatched.
He was.
By Schultz and thrown down. Look at Schultz, 24. He sees Corbett coming. There's the catch and there's the snatch.
Carousel.
But the forward motion was up near the 44.5, 45-yard line. That we're going to put it on the 44.
So Corbett now 25 times on 3rd down has picked up the 1st down on the season, leads the NFL in that category. We've got some bumping. We'll have a flag at around the 50 or the 49-yard line.
And once again on Irvin, number 27 in the defensive backfield, working on Graham.
Jeff Graham, the intended receiver.
Defensive pass interference, number 27. 1st down.
Ken Irvin. I'm wondering with the effectiveness that we've seen, although the score sets up this type of an offense, 35-10, if we might not see more of this type of offense from the Jets the latter part of the season.
It's hard to say, and there's Graham playing official there, but Ron Earhart needs to run the ball effectively for this team to have an effective offense, and you just can't run the ball effectively out of this. It is great in a 2-minute type situation where it's a mix-up like Buffalo does it, but they don't do it because they can run the ball so well.
4 wide receivers. Here's the blitz. A middle screen was what they were setting up. Corbett was right in the middle of it, and so was the rookie from Colorado State for the Buffalo Bills, Sean Moran.
It was one of those good news, bad news. Good news is I'm going to get you the ball for another reception, Wayne, but the bad news is you shan't be alone.
That's right.
You will have some company with you when you catch that ball.
Trick or treat, here they come.
Which was that? Trick or treat?
A little beat. Again, pressure on the outside. Corbett has it. He makes a move to the outside. Pulled down to the 44-yard line.
So these other receivers are going to start getting a little jealous out here in these drives between Graham and Corbett. No one else is going to be able to recognize what an NFL-sized football looks like after the last couple of drives. They're the only guys that have seen the ball.
Well, they may all come out of the locker room wearing number 80 on their jersey. Now to 5 wide receivers. They mix it up from 4 wide to 5 wide. Now protection, and this one is incomplete. 4:26, that is the time remaining in the ballgame. With the ball on the 44-yard line of the Buffalo Bills. That last pass intended for Alex Van Dyke, the rookie from Nevada. Thomas Smith had the coverage for Buffalo.
Well, after several weeks, the Jets, going down to the wire, having late leads, and then finding a way to lose. This has been a game that they made early mistakes in, and Richie Kotite's Jets got bumped by these Buffalo Bills, and they made those early mistakes.
4th down and 6. Of course, you go for it with the score and the time remaining in the game. Almost intercepted. Almost
Schultz
picked off.
almost had another try.
That would have been a hat trick. He would have had his 3rd interception. Let me make a correction. 5 turnovers, 3 interceptions, 2 fumble recoveries, and we'll be back in just a moment. 35-10 Buffalo. 22 seconds. Time remaining in the ball game on a very cold Sunday afternoon here in Buffalo. The wind chill factor now down to 9.
Why would you have to ice anything?
The icing would only go on the cake today, and that would be inside the locker room for the party as we go to New York now for an update. Greg?
All right, Charlie, it's all over in Minnesota. And what a way to end it from 5 yards out. John Elway's pass tipped by Orlando Thomas. Harlan Bennett has a shot to intercept. Instead, Ed McCaffrey grabs it, falls into the end zone with 19 seconds to play. The Broncos have won 8 in a row, 21-17 over Minnesota, Charlie.
And Greg, I do believe it is the year of the Bronco. I think this is Denver's year. And Elway is having just a tremendous season. Meanwhile, the Buffalo Bills continue to work. Their record is going to be 9-3. Jason Bratton, the rookie free agent from Grambling, the ball carrier. For a loss of a couple of yards. This would set up a very nice, very interesting championship matchup. Bobby Hamilton with that last tackle between, and it could happen, the Buffalo Bills and the Denver Broncos in the AFC Championship game to see who would go to the Super Bowl.
Well, and really, if you're talking about, you know, the Buffalo Bills, you got to also remember, yeah, they're 9-3. Let's say they finish 13-3.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say Denver finishes 15-1. There's no home field advantage for Denver against these guys. What do you think? Jim Kelly and Bruce Smith and these guys are afraid of the cold?
No, it's cold in both cities.
Yeah, so it's not that big a deal. I mean, it's a factor playing in front of that crowd at Mile High anytime.
But a factor playing in front of the crowd here.
But this is a veteran football team begging for a chance to get back into that Super Bowl again.
Fair catch is taken at the 26-yard line. 2 minutes and 3 seconds time remaining. Wayne Grabett with the fair catch. And the New York Jets will come out with their either 4-wide or 5-wide offensive set to see what they can get going here. Is the crowd a little bit disappointing from the standpoint of the fact that the Buffalo Bills had an 8-3 record coming into the ball game. Now their record will be 9-3. They're beginning to leave, but the Buffalo Bills now have a train that comes on the Sundays of the home games, and it leaves Albany to Buffalo. They had just over, not quite 1,000 on the train of tickets for people that are here watching the game. Then they'll take the train back to Albany, and a waiting list of 1,500 to make the train trip to Buffalo for a ball game. Keyshawn cut it off at the 35-yard line, and Frank Reich, he went deep. It's incomplete. 1:59, time for the 2-minute warning. Buffalo up 35-10. 3 wide receivers and a flanker on the depth, and a blocker back in for protection, and the screen to Richie Anderson. Anderson is going to pick up just a couple of yards on the play, and that's going to be it. Sean Price with the tackle.
You got a jet down on the field back where Frank Reich was. It's Jumbo Elliott came into this game with a twinged calf muscle that he suffered in last week's game.
So the trainer's working on it. So we have a quick injury timeout. Don't go away. We'll be right back. 35-10 Bills.
Just the continuity of he and his staff and the way they work with these players and the way they've weaved in some of these new people. You know, somebody goes down, the linebacker White comes in for pop. Gabe Northern a couple of weeks ago blocks a big punt against the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, Marv Levy is getting everything out of this football team he possibly can right now.
Deep down the far sideline into single coverage. It is going to be incomplete. The Buffalo Bills hold. They take over on downs, and now all they need to do is to work on the clock.
You know, Frank Reich finally, for the last couple of series against the ball, have held and held and held. And in this case, he got the protection, but he really had nowhere to go. This is sort of throwing and hoping, because Thomas Smith out there has excellent coverage on Alex Van Dyke.
And so the Bills take over on downs at the 28-yard line of the New York Jets.
You know, we talked about the pass attempts of the Buffalo Bills. Less than 30 equals 5-0, now 6-0. Frank Reich and the Jets, there's 51 passes. And unless you're one of those aerial circuses from the old AFL days, 51 passes, then you're losing.
And so the Bills just kneeling down, letting the clock move. That is Todd Collins. Here's a program note. NBC tonight, it's Thanksgiving Alien Style, an outrageous all-new Third Rock. Then at 8:30, 7:30 Central, the movie that we've been talking about, Maverick, with Mel Gibson, Jodie Foster, and James Garner. the network premiere of Maverick at a special time after Dateline and Third Rock tonight here on NBC.
It's a scary thought, those Third Rock guys having Thanksgiving.
You begin to wonder. Yes. That's a great movie, isn't it? A great series. I enjoy that. You see the smile on the face of Jim Kelly. Kelly with a twitch in the hamstring, not playing in the second half of the ball game. The Bills comfortably in control of this one, almost from the beginning, and that is not quite enough. They may have to kneel down one more time to make it official. So the clock continues.
Yeah, I was talking about Bruce Smith. He's got that ice bag on. You don't need the ice bag, Bruce. Just lift up your jersey. Let the air get at that thing. He's got a little bruise, obviously, in his lower back is why he's icing it, but he's not suffering too much with a smile like that on his face.
And so we still have to take the countdown of the last 15 seconds to make this score official. Rich Kotite and Marv Levy. Levy's record now for the Buffalo Bills, 9-3, and the Jets are now looking for that elusive second victory of the season. They'll have another opportunity against Houston next Sunday in the Meadowlands. The final, Buffalo 35, the Jets